So now we're up to Harbor Masters for everybody.
Also known as Harbour Master.
Harbor Master, sorry. What page is Harbor Master?
24.
24. Okay.
Self-explanatory. It was last year.
I know that we started, I believe we had an article at town meeting where part of your, was it deputy harbor master was going to be paid out of,
Correct.
is that reflected in this budget?
That is requested in the budget and reflected in third line. It says deputy, and it should be listed under FY other funds, 38,546.
Okay. I had mine on.
Would you like me to repeat it?
Might be worth it just for the, it's on now.
Okay, we are reflecting the other funding for the deputy harbor master. It's the third line item under 15 for other funds. So that's not coming out of the general. As well as the seasonal.
It might help too if you give us a status of your, of the permits and all the accounts that you have, where they stand.
Yep, we do, we sell a variety of stuff out of our office, shellfish permits, dump beach sticker, as well as harbor service permits. Harbor service permits, we've increased our intake to, without late fees and other fees that are associated with people not keeping their moorings up to date. We bill out just about 161,000. We also collect about 45,000 in boat excise tax. Beach stickers, I think we're averaging between 148 to 155,000. Shellfish permits, we average around, I think it's about 68. Under the shellfish licenses, we have 100% of all commercial shellfish licenses get designated into shellfish propagation. 20% of the sales of recreational also go into the propagation account, and then the remaining 80% goes to the general.
Yeah, I think one of the things on there is what few people would actually realize is how much revenue that the Harbor Master's office brings into us, and they're the ones that have been, well, along with the many hats, that's the department, Gary and Marietta, that have been helping with the parking kiosks and really making sure that that's been the success that it has. So I really appreciate all their help on that. And if you look at this budget, you'll see that we're trying to use in the legal manner some of the revenues that they have, and I appreciate Mr. Buckminster working with me on it, because in all honesty, there's other things that could be done with the waterways that could help with the boating and such. So
We try to focus a lot of our projects under things that we can fund solely, and it doesn't have to come out of the capital. It doesn't have to come out of the general fund. I mean, obviously, on our budget, we do have to fund some portions. I can't fund everything. It's just not legally allowed. We do have a portion that does come out of what you guys and Derek propose to us or allow us to take. But we try to offset things as much as possible with funds that are pretty much protected under state laws that we can't do anything else with. So.
Do you have any big projects coming up? At least like in 15?
15, I'm hoping this fall is going to be we've got a lot of building that needs to go on. We're trying to do everything in-house because it saves us money, so we're building all of our own docks. We do all our own installs, with the exception of some bigger things like pilings and things of that nature. So 2015, I don't foresee any big infrastructure changes, but we are looking at a a few major issues coming down the road. One is the onset boat ramp. We're waiting for some funding through the Bouchard oil spill money. If we get it, it's basically apply and try to see who gets the till. So onset boat ramp is in dire need of replacement, and we're looking at probably about $150,000 to $175,000, and that's to replace existing what's there. We wouldn't be making it bigger. We wouldn't be changing it. The other thing is the onset pier. We're at its max life expectancy with the metal sheathing. I pulled into the pier the other day, well, not the other day, going back a couple weeks now, with our boat, and my wake washed up against the pier, and I had a cloud in the water, and upon further study, we have a huge hole on the side of the pier, and it's undermining all of the materials in the back of it. So, we're going to be looking at, obviously, funding sources for that. That's a multi-million-dollar project because they encapsulate the pier, and the pier actually will be a little bit bigger than before because they just keep building outside of it. So that's going to be one of the two big projects that I think we're going to start to foresee in the future. Yep, absolutely. Without fines and additional fees under the harbor service permits, we bill out 160,000. I'm sorry, 161. Yep, and then under boat excise taxes collected, we do about 45,000. We also generate through the beach and dump stickers. I think I said 145 to 160, somewhere in there. Shellfish permits, I think I said, what did I say, about 68, something in that factor? 68. Yes, correct. Yeah, the largest, the 161. So, and we usually, we usually get about 17,000 in fines and other fees collected.
The state has the environmental police.
Yes.
If they come in and write a violation, where does that revenue go?
It goes to the state.
It does.
It's supposed to split it, but I don't know if we see much of that. They get federal grants also, which is supposed to divvy up to towns, and we never see that either. So they've actually become they've really grabbed all their tickets because we can write under the same chapters as them, the Chapter 90B, Chapter 130, things like that, and they've actually stopped giving out ticket books on top of it. So we're not really sure what.
Well, with traffic enforcement, I thought that we also got a piece back.
I'm assuming in traffic enforcement.
So I didn't know if it worked the same way.
It's supposed to. It was supposed to go, a portion was supposed to go to the town. So that's why bylaw citations on our end of it are just better. But you can't, there's a lot of things that the bylaws just can't cover.
Now, do you find that anything that you do is duplicate of what they're doing? Or
Pretty much, we don't see them very much. You've got one officer that covers from Westport to Plymouth, basically, and he covers a little portion of the Cape. So when I need him, we've got a pretty close working relationship with a few guys around here. We've got a few friends of the department that will help us if we need them. So, but unfortunately, we are doing some of the things they're doing, but they're not overseeing nearly the amount of stuff we're seeing. I mean, they're focusing their fleet in New Bedford Fishing Harbor, the big ports. So, and now like the Homeland Security thing is just, blossom. So they're going to all these different things also.
all right. Not to, just so, for my own understanding, what is the, how far is your jurisdiction out?
Everything within Wareham. It's just Wareham boundaries. We do fresh water, we do salt water. It doesn't exceed past it unless you do like a transfer of power. If I go into Bourne or something, it's like what the police do. We notify Bourne if a stop carries into their town, and our powers would carry over at that point.
And are there any additional areas that for instance, you could put more boat moorings in, or?
We try to keep what we have here. As much as I love boating, I want to see people use the waterways, I just don't want to see us turn the whole town into a mooring field. And I mean, we could wipe out the whole waiting list instantly, but we have a lot of areas that are protected under the bylaws, which are basically it's the same as open space. And we try, obviously we don't want to bleed into that, but I think what we're going to see over the next couple of years is companies coming in, and we'll have an engineering firm come in and regrid the harbors. And what that'll do is we'll be able to actually organize mooring fields to like boats, drafts, length, size, wind, current, all these different things, and they factor all this in. So we could actually put more in a smaller area, especially going with like environmentally friendly mooring systems, which is something that's coming down the road.
I just see, if we're going to look at the master plan, so to
Yep.
speak, of the, we want to create, Wareham as a destination.
Yep.
And we want to, increase revenue that way. This is that's our diamond that we have to
It's,
attract.
we have a great waterway. It's navigable, it's safe. We have, safe harbors. It's an area that we have a lot of transient vessels come in to anchor because there's no other place to go. It's deep water. It's right off the canal. Usually once they're coming down the coast or they're heading up, this is where they stop because they don't want to run the canal in the middle of the night. They want to rest up. They want to do their deal. And that's what we need to sit and look at. And the thing is going back to what we pulled for the launch this fall, this isn't something new. We have a lot of boats coming into the harbor. We sit there and watch boats come into the dock every single day and turn around and leave because there's no place to tie up. They don't want to pick a mooring up, and they don't have a dinghy to get back and forth. So what's the next best thing? We want to keep them here for a little while because I feel it's important for the businesses to thrive, so let's get them in here. And we charge on top of it. So it really is a marketing tool for this town, and I think it's something we need.
Thank you.
How many transient moorings do we have right now?
Currently, as a town, I have 3. I've put in for an increase to 10, depending on pricing that we get. But we also have, I believe the yacht club has 29 moorings. All their moorings are transient. Onset Bay Marina, I believe, has a few, and Zecco Marina has a mooring field where they can rent some moorings out of. These are all licensed mooring fields for the Army Corps of Engineers, Coast Guard.
And there's 20 outside.
Correct. I think they have 29. So we want to up ours a little bit and then have the ability. A lot of people anchor, so.
Okay. Any other questions? Gary, thank you. Just for the general overview. With this staffing, is that adequate for this department?
I am very pleased to be able to get another full-time person. That takes a lot of pressure off of everything that we've got going on. That allows us to keep kind of a watchful eye on the evening hours too. So we've already started setting up a plan for the summer of rotations for having that person with that additional training on, staying later at night, so we have a first-class operator there in case we do go out. So that has worked out. The seasonal staff, I think we rely on the most. It's something that doesn't cost us a lot of money. We don't have benefits to pay. We don't have all these different things. At some point, somewhere down the road, I definitely feel that the seasonal personnel would probably need to be increased, but not by a big number. I'd like to see maybe 2 or 3 new seasonal people on top of our staff. We get 7 people, and it's a 7-day a week, and we try to keep it open till 10, 11 o'clock at night. So
I noticed that your fuel line, your gas, diesel, and oil line was knocked down from the original request.
Yep.
Is that realistic?
Unfortunately, with the patrol boats, we can't bring them up to municipal maintenance to fuel them. So I'm stuck with paying, marina rates. So it does cost a little more.
And I meant, is
So-
it realistic that we've been reduced from the 14.5 to 12.5? is?
Yeah, we can
gonna be able to
manage it.
Make it for that?
Yeah, we'll make it work. So if, we're trying to, like I said, that's another thing we're trying to offset costs with, so. It'll be tight, but we'll get there. I'd rather see us make it through the year.
And you weren't here when I was asking the earlier question. Obviously, I think that your department functions beautifully. It's a real
Thank you.
asset to the town. And you yourself do a lot of hard work in getting these grants, getting these programs, and taking initiative to improve it, which is hugely beneficial.
Thank you very much.
But in fairness to the other departments, I have to ask you the same tough question that I'm trying to get to the bottom of. If we have to decide where our services come into the town, and that will not be this committee's decision, that will be up to town meeting with our Board of Selectmen. What do you do, what services do you provide that are absolutely, and I don't mean essential to the community, but I mean legally mandated? Why do we have to have harbor services?
Both titles are under the state law. Under the harbor master, it's listed that any town that receives any waterways money through funding is required to have a harbor master, an assistant harbor master, and they set whatever they need. I mean, on the shellfish constable, it pretty much is the same wording. That's chapter 130, section 98, I think, to oversee the waterways. Unlike some states where, like, you go to Rhode Island, it's a state-operated across the board. So you buy a permit in Rhode Island, you're buying it for all of Rhode Island. In Massachusetts, they designated the waterways by towns to oversee it. So the state is turning all fisheries powers, basically, for shellfishing over to the towns for regulations, bylaws, all the stuff. The permits are permissible because it's state waterways, which is again designated to the towns to manage, and we fund as according. We set up the fees accordingly. So on our fees, I mean, we're probably we're in the middle of the road on pretty much everything with costs. We don't want to be overbearing, but we need to make things happen.
No, I know you've looked long and hard at that and reevaluated.
Some of the things that we're looking at here, we're looking at a natural resource. We oversee the largest harvestable product. It's not cranberries, it's shellfish. Our acreage is more. We've got close to 2,000 people at Shellfish. We're dealing with health issues, we're dealing with Vibrio, we're dealing with things that could kill a person, basically, if we're not out there doing the water samples with the state, taking in these areas, managing the locations, seeing what people are doing. On that end of it, I think it's pretty important. It is part of a public health issue, too, so.
Thank you.
When is the launch scheduled?
Tentatively scheduled for June 1st to start operation. We just finished up our policies and procedures on it, regulations for users, and basically a fee structure that we're going to have to propose to the town administrator, and if he feels comfortable with it, then we go to the next step, the board to approve it, so.
Who will be in that? One of you?
We're going to try and keep everything in-house, because what it is, you receive a certification to operate, which is just a launch operator's license. So all of our operators are drug tested. All of our operators have to go through a full physical. They get a Coast Guard certification, a Twix card, which is part of the Homeland Security, Department of Homeland Security. So I'm trying to keep it all in-house with everybody that we use for all of our seasonal personnel. The people that are working in the office, they're going to be going out on the launch. If I have room to be able to hire some people at a lesser rate to be a seasonal launch employee, or if we have people that apply that are certified, then that we'll just use seasonal personnel for that. So we'll have a season that we do run, but I mean, you'll see me on the launch running it, you'll see the assistants on the launch running it, you'll see our deputies running it, and if we get a launch operator, he'll be the full-time guy for it, so.
Will there be an additional liability cost for that insurance?
It's added on to, we have to actually, because of the mooring rentals and the docks and everything, we're basically getting a marine insurance policy, and it's added on to the policy. So there are costs, but it's covered under the waterways funds that we generate, so. So basically, everything that has to do with that is strictly done with waterways. It doesn't come out of any budget line item, it doesn't come out of anything. It's strictly paid by the boaters, for the boaters, for the use of the waterways, and access there too.
That's it? Wow, you're lucky you came in after pizza. We're all really happy. Thank you very much.
Okay,
We
thank you.
reserve the right to get back to you with other questions after we actually have a chance to pay attention to these.
And we did reduce our budget, so.
And you're generating money.
Next one, you have a couple of articles that are coming.
Yes, actually, the articles that will be coming up to town meeting will be for those numbers to get where they're at, basically. So it would be for the seasonal, the full-time deputy, and that's it. So,
So these two, the 38,000.
Yep, correct.
40,000 will be articles?
yes, the 38, the
Okay.
572, and the 40,000, or 570, something or other.
Go ahead.
Police, they dismantling the water skis?
They're not even, they don't, even- I don't think they have them anymore. They don't even, I don't think they have them.
Yes,
Yeah, I
yes.
think, were you here for when Chief Walsh spoke? He went over that.
Yeah, he said they've been returned to, they sent back.
How would it affect the harbor master?
Oh,
No effects, different operation. Yeah, so.
leading question. Was it beneficial to have them? And I don't mean to put you on the spot, because I want to preface it, because you weren't
just
here,
answered it.
for what I said to the police department, yeah. No, I should preface that. Because what I'm getting at is, we're at a bad spot. You've already, I think you've already shown us how you work to get things
think-
improving for long-term. Let me just hear me out.
Right.
Ultimately, I'd like to get back to having that kind of a full community involvement. I'd like the ATVs and I'd like to have a thriving community that
Yeah.
requires that.
I think where it stands right now, we have a great working relationship with Lieutenant Walsh and Lieutenant Walchuk. We've started to rebuild a friendship of what we used to have, which was lacking for a little while. So there's a nice level of teamwork going on with it. So, and we've talked about different events, things like that, where how we could partner up and do some things. So there's definitely on my end of it, there's been a nice change. So
Good.
I
Glad
think
to hear that.
with the jet skis in general, they're nice to get around real quick, but they're basically a floating vacuum cleaner. They pull things in, the drives, it's an expensive thing when it breaks, it's expensive to replace. We had one and it was not beneficial to us. It was nice to get around. People didn't know you coming up and all of a sudden you're there, but the costs outweigh it.
Okay.
And there's a lot of personnel, there's personnel costs that follow that too, so it was a different manning, so.
Thank you.
Just to follow up on that, I mean, you work in conjunction with a lot of other agencies too, the
Oh, yeah.
environmental police, et cetera.
Yep.
You got a good working rapport with them?
Yeah.
They pitch in, especially in
We've
the
actually
seasonal
built
time?
a very good relationship with the State Police Marine Unit. So the gentleman that's in charge of the State Police Dive Team, he and I have been doing a lot of things together. And he's actually going to be coming down with a few of their higher-end scan devices, and they're going to be working with us on training and some other issues. So, and it looks like the state police are actually going to be putting a boat somewhere in Buzzards Bay, but we're not sure where. So we're trying to. I'd like to see them drift this way because they're a pretty good operation, and that's they let the state pay for it, So.
Wonderful.
Good. I think you're off the hook.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gary. Mr. Matthew Underhill, our IT director, and probably the person that gets spread thinnest out of anyone around here. So having him here is very nice, and let's hope there's no catastrophes in the meanwhile. So the two departments that we'll go over, if you look at it's page 14 of 40, will be the actual IT department, and then another section called communications. And would you like to go over anything, Matt? Or?
Good afternoon. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Matthew Underhill. I'm the IT director, or at least that's what my title is this week. As Derek has spoken, we've got two budgets to go over. One's communications, one's the actual IT department. Communications is strictly telephones and other communications type budgets, whereas the IT is computers, software, licensing, type of stuff.
And is your mic on? Excuse me, is your mic on?
It is now. Sorry about that. I'm not sure which department you want to start with. We can start with either one. As far as the IT department goes, we have myself as the director, and we have one tech support person who I split with the police department. Currently spends 3 days a week at the police department, 2 days a week here at the town. We cover 28 locations in town, between all the town facilities, administrative-wise on the schools. The school departments use our financials, so we support them for the financials, as well as, we supply all the communications to and from all the buildings over the town's network.
The salary for the support technician is fully in the IT department, though, correct?
Correct. As of last year, it was strictly under the police department, and we moved it out from under the police department for fear that it was going to be cut for some other position. So we moved it out from the police department and put it under the IT department.
Mr. Donald, would you like to start?
Not really, because once I get started, I can't stop. $109,500 software in the budget. That's still contractual?
What I'll do is I will actually email the board all my detail. I'm sorry, but I kind of was off the list and didn't know about the meeting until this morning.
Shame on whoever sent that list out.
So I will get you all the detail. The $109,000, I will have to, that $109,000, $60,000 of that goes to Microsoft.
Licenses?
It was licensing. $17,000 of that goes to Citrix, which is additional licensing for the virtual servers. Then we have licensing for our web filters, our firewall, our video surveillance systems that we have in town. It's licensing for that, as well as the communications to and from the cruisers back to the police station. Software that we use to allow that communications is we have to license that. That's all part of the software itself.
Probably not the right time or place to tackle the issue of the virtualization, because the 60K has a direct correlations with that. So even though we're paying 60K, we're most likely not getting the benefit of that 60K at this point.
That Microsoft licensing itself, yes, we are getting the benefit.
Okay.
That is actually for the licensing for Microsoft Office, for the desktop, for the end user. We have 200 computers, desktop computers across the town, as well as another 30 computers in vehicles, mobile computers. So that is for the Microsoft Office licensing, as well as the Microsoft Windows and server licensing. So we are getting the use of that benefit.
Okay.
That was a 3-year lease, I shouldn't say lease, it was a 3-year purchase with Microsoft. Next year, this is the 3rd year. Next year, it should go down because we won't have to purchase it would just be an ongoing maintenance to make sure that we can stay with the same releases, of the operating system and stay up to date, as opposed to in the past when we had people running, 10-year-old operating systems on one machine, and the next machine had new stuff, and you couldn't, there needed to be a conversion done to transfer documents between one version and the next.
If I could real quick, Matt, with these licenses, so if another version comes out in the future,
We automatically get it.
You get the upgrade automatic.
So if, Windows 9 comes out and we choose to deploy it, we would automatically get it, as well as, 2012 server from Microsoft that is out, will be out, released recently. If we choose to deploy that, we can get that without having to go out and purchase it. It would already be included.
Okay, thank you. And Jeffrey?
The police department has 16,000 in their budget for computer maintenance. Now, is there a crossover here?
In the police department's budget,
Yeah.
I haven't seen that, haven't spoken to the chief. That maintenance, my guess, is licensing with their dispatch software.
Do they have payment system, or what do they?
They use IMC.
Okay. And, all right, because when you mentioned the software and that, the licensing on that, you mentioned the police department and your 109,000.
Whereas they went through the IT department for installing the communications to the vehicles, that licensing was in mine. We haven't, up until last year, the police department was pretty much autonomous, as far as IT goes, and they did their own thing. We're trying to organize things and get the best use of staff. That's one of the license items that is still under the police department's budget. We haven't brought that out under the IT as of yet.
And if I may, more prior to the to both of you actually, do the water districts or fire districts, you have any involvement with our system at all?
As far as, we do get some support calls. We do try to help them out once in a while. They don't have their own staffing. But as far as going through us, we do support, or we do have communications and supply the communications to the onset fire station off our network. It was part of an agreement that we made with the water district for them to allow us to put antennas on their water tower. Was that we had to provide communications to the fire station, which at that time we had a police substation in the fire station, so it wasn't, a bad deal. So they do grab our internet at the onset fire station from town hall as part of our connection through our wireless network that connects all our buildings together.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. How do you integrate your IT systems with the schools? Is there any integration at all?
The only integration that we have is, it is one network. When we built our wireless network, we connected all town buildings together as well as the schools. The school department has their own firewalls. The school departments in all the schools do communicate and come back to town hall before they get flowed out to the middle school, the high school, where all their servers are located. The school departments do use the town's financial system for their accounting and bookkeeping. As far as student records and the school department's email and, their website, that's all done by the school department's IT department. We do, where it is one network, we do communicate back and forth a little bit, as far as trying to, when there's an issue. But outside of that, the school department has their IT staff, and they maintain their own stuff.
So you're the IT director, and you take care of the town hall. It sounds like the Wareham Fire Department has their own IT group.
I'm not sure if they have their own IT group. I do not think so. I think they just, they got some personal computers in their office, and they try to do the best they can. Once in a while I do get a call that to help them out in an emergency. And if I can fit it in my schedule, I'll try to help them out. As far as it's a separate fire district, separate entity, separate funding, so for the most part, they're on their own.
Thank you.
Compatibility. When you set up this new system, and I know they set up a new accounting system for the treasurer's office, is every department linked into that so that they can go directly through their network, right, electronically, right in, send their reports right in?
Every department is connected on the town's network. The only two buildings that are not connected is the Spinney Library and the police substation in Onset. There are two in the newest buildings that were added to the town's, I guess, the town's responsibility, and they're too costly for us at the moment to connect those buildings. But outside of that, every department does have access. Every department, all the financials for the whole town, whether it be municipal maintenance, the sewer department, the police department, the harbor master's office at the pier, all those financials, all their user documents are all stored at Town Hall.
And they all,
So the Town Hall is a central hub for all the departments.
so everybody's running basically the same program, so they all are compatible.
Everybody's using the same financial systems. Everybody's using pretty much the same operating systems. I shouldn't say same operating systems, but they're all using Windows operating systems. They're all using the same Microsoft Office products. As far as that goes. Now, each department does have their own specific software. Inspections, there's a permanent licensing. Assessors have their appraisal software. Police department has their own dispatch software. So every department, for the most part, does have their own specific software that is specific to them. But as far as financials go, yes, all the departments are connected and using the same software.
Okay, thank you.
Is the town's accounting financial software, is that a package? Was it a?
Yes.
It was off the.
We stopped writing our own software in the late 80s, early 90s. And since then, we've been using package software. Right now, the vendor that we use is Vadar Systems, and our annual maintenance to them is $57,000 a year. $57,000.
Is this the time to address the inadequacies of that, or wait till we get to accounting? All right, so give me that number again, please.
It is $57,000. That's just yearly support maintenance.
And that's, what line is that?
Would that happen, which leading to my next question is what's
That's-
under
that's-
other purchase services?
Other purchase services,
Does that
that
include that?
that is, our financial software, annual maintenance. That's the annual maintenance for our website.
Yep.
It's the annual maintenance for the assessor's appraisal software, as well as the annual maintenance for our email archiving unit.
Ask it.
In your estimation, as far as financial and accounting software go, is Vadar not, or substandard for what we need to be doing?
We're on TV?
He can't answer that question.
Okay, let me try it again.
As from an IT standpoint,
From an IT standpoint,
we are a $70 million business, including all our grants, and we're running off a Microsoft Access database.
gotcha. That's all I needed to know. Thank you.
The answer to that would be, yes, it's inadequate.
No, that was close enough.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Substandard? I don't know.
Substandard.
That's more for the finance director and the town accountant to determine whether or not
Laying
for
the
their services. From the IT standpoint, we're using a personal software for a personal computer in Microsoft Office for our financials.
Okay.
Okay.
Probably could have asked that question 8 years ago and saved some aggravation. All right.
It was, we purchased it anyways.
Good.
What was the other department? Communication?
Communications should be,
Communications,
I think it's
pretty
page 15 on the document Derek handed.
Unfortunately, ours is not in that order, so.
This is telephones. We got, that is broken up into,
I think I put it on the agenda.
let's see, I got it right
It
here.
has its own tab somewhere.
So repair and maintenance, the biggest item there is the police department's phone system we replaced a couple years ago. The lease purchase is still built into that. So, outside of that, there's 9,000 of that 17,900 is still the lease purchase on the police department's phone system. The rest of it is, annual maintenance on the phone system from town hall, municipal maintenance, library, EMS. Those are all, the maintenance on those phone systems. The phone system in town, the main hub is town hall. Calls to the library, come into town hall, flow back there. Sewer department, come to town hall. Trying to get all our phone systems connected together. The voicemail system for the middle school, the police station, the superintendent's office, the mine at school, we're all at town hall. We're trying to develop a phone system in which, at some point in time down the road, all the phone systems hopefully will be connected together so that we have a one phone number, call it a 311 system. You call the number and you can get the superintendent or the police department, DPW, without having to have, separate phone numbers for every single department where people have to call. So that's what the maintenance is for the maintenance and upkeep on the town's phone system. The $25,000 for telephone, that is our actual telephone bills from Verizon for all the departments, with the exception of sewer departments. Those get charged back to the sewer department, to the enterprise fund. The rest of it is, we have 109 telephone lines in town, including, and then another 7 emergency call boxes over at the beaches, in case there's emergencies. Our average telephone bill is $2,000 a month, $2,000 to $2,100 a month.
Is it web-based or landline-based?
These are all landline phones.
Yeah.
We've looked at, possibility of putting T1 lines in. Problem with sometimes with the T1 lines is you put all your eggs in a basket. Especially at the police department, if it goes down, all your lines go down. We can continue to look at something like that for town hall. The problem with the lease lines is there's some added expense up front, to add some modules to the phone system to take in those.
How about equipment replacement? This covers obviously cellular, so is there equipment replacement in here as well, or?
There is no equipment replacement built into this. The equipment replacement, I spoke to the capital committee earlier this week about some upgrades to the phone system. We installed this system 9 years ago, and some of the modules we've upgraded as we've gone along. The main modules at Town Hall, Avaya has announced within the last couple of weeks that they will no longer be supporting the release that we're at. And in order to go to the new software release, of course, you need a new module to go with it. The telephone system itself, as the voicemail goes, and the auto attendant, that's all on a PC based, so that wouldn't be upgraded. It would just be the switches themselves.
So this repairs and maintenance, is this all, do you contract out for people to come in with these?
That's,
telephones?
yep, we contract it out. And it's, it's break fix replacement of the system. So if, somebody drops a handset, off their desk, or if the module, like, for instance, we had a lightning strike at the police station within the last year, and they came out that day and replaced the phone system at no cost to us, other than the annual maintenance on the system. So, they've been good. The vendor that we're using right now has been very good at that, whereas if, something did break, or by our choice or elsewhere, they came out and replaced the systems for us at no hardware cost to us.
And you only have 2 employees, so you're all like a one-armed paper hanger.
Correct. When I started, 30 years ago, we had 2 full-time, people, employees in the IT department. For town hall, they ran 1 computer, a dozen workstations and 3 printers. We're now branched out to 28 locations across town. From the sewer department, to EMS, to, computers in the boats and the vehicles. We also, have stuck with the responsibility of, video surveillance. If an issue happens at the police department, a break-in, it seems to be our responsibility to go to that business, try to get their video surveillance of the event to the detectives. So yes, we seem to be on call 24 hours a day now. And yes, there are, with only 2 of us, we are pretty thin.
I should say.
Anybody else? Okay. Thank you very much. I will not ask you the same question that I've asked the other departments, because I don't believe there's any legal mandate whatsoever to have you. However, we would be lost without you, so that's fine.
Okay.
Thank you. And
You're
thank
welcome.
you for all.
Your physical.
What I will do is, I will forward you on my detail that explains, breaks down every line item and what's entailed in those line items for you, so that you have something to review. And if you have any questions, please either email me or Derek, or contact us, and we'll get you your answers.
And I apologize, I didn't get that to you earlier. Matt had provided that for me, so I should have passed that on.
I'm sure you can find our email addresses.
Just, give it to Derek can blast it, or send it to me and I can blast it.
Okay. All right.
It's a great fine email system that town has.
Well, it's, it could be better, but, it works.
It works. That's all. Thanks.
Thanks, man.